Released in the summer of 2013, Man of Steel was one of the most anticipated movies of that year. Produced by Christopher Nolan, who had just finished his very successful Batman reboot franchise, and directed by Zack Snyder, people were excited to see how this Superman reboot would turn out. It ended up being one of the most polarizing movies of the summer, with many people liking it and many very vocal people hating it. It's obvious that there are issues with this movie. Right now, I'll go over what I think are the 5 biggest problems with this movie. If you haven't watched this movie and want to avoid spoilers, stop this video. In fact, get off the internet. This place is infested with spoilers.
Show me how the gods give.
The Codex is not here.
Where has he hidden it?
I don't know.
Where is the Codex?
In essence, I don't have an issue with this scene. Zod was interrogating Martha Kent for information, and an untrained, undisciplined Clark charges at him. He plows Zod through a field and stops at a gas station, causing explosions. This is the problem with the film. Parts that need more time dedicated to them receive less, and parts that need less time dedicated to them receive more. This scene would have been fine if Clark noticed the explosions he was creating and started going back to save people who may be injured from it. This can be done completely visually. You could see a look of concern on Clark's face at the destruction he just caused, at the mistake he just made, and realizing that he has great power, he can't just lose control of his emotions and charge at someone like that. All of that could elevate the scene, showing this little incident as a scene of personal growth for the hero that has yet to develop. Instead, we just get a scene of Superman causing destruction and probably hurting people without any regards for his action. It's a scene with a good idea that is just not executed, which is a major problem with this movie. It could have easily been elevated to be a very strong scene with almost no work, essentially filming 1 or 2 extra shots. One of the shots would pretty much just be special effects. So with very little work, this scene could have been extremely good.
Why do we crucify ourselves every day? I crucify myself.
So, Superman lands on Earth and we jump to 30 years later. This is when his people return, and Superman must sacrifice himself for the good of everyone else. If the Jesus symbolism stopped here, I'd be fine with it. It's obvious, but it's not in your face. But instead, they decide to jam shots in the film that literally shove it in your face. And it becomes almost hard for me to watch these scenes without laughing. The first is the scene where Clark goes to the priest to discuss his surrender. The Jesus parallels are obvious already, except they had to put a shot of Jesus in the stained glass window over Clark's shoulder. I feel this is too far. It's like the filmmakers are insulting our intelligence, feeling the need to explain it to us like we're children. If the filmmakers want to go for Jesus parallels, fine. It's easy to find them between Jesus and Superman. But don't shove it in our face like we don't get it. I assure you, I do get it, and even if I didn't, I would still enjoy the movie. There is one more shot that shoves the Jesus parallel in our face, but I'll let Cardinal Glick explain it.
Thank you. Now, we all know how the majority and the media in this country view the Catholic Church. Now, in an effort to disprove all that, the Church has appointed this year as a time of renewal, both of faith and of style. Right? Christ didn't come to earth to give us the willies. He came to help us out. He was a booster. And it's with that take on our Lord in mind that we've come up with a new, more inspiring sigil. So it is with great pleasure that I present you with the first of many revamps the Catholicism Wow campaign will unveil over the next year. I give you the Buddy Christ.
Shaky Cam has become a very popular technique in the 2000s, for better or for worse. The idea, I think, is to make the scene feel more real by making it feel like it is a scene being shot by some person on the street. The films that really exploit this are horror movies. It feels like we get a new found footage movie every week. Thing is, Man of Steel is not a found footage movie. It's a superhero movie. It is safe to say that realism goes out the window. However, I could have maybe forgiven this if the shaky cam is reserved for action scenes. But instead, it's used for every scene in the movie. No joke. The scene that really bugs the crap out of me is the scene where Clark and his father are talking by the truck about the school bus incident. I've done professional camera work for television, and in that scene, all I can think of is hold the camera still. I literally want to reach out to the TV, grab the camera, and hold it still. It bugs me. We all know the story of Superman. He's bitten by a radioactive Kryptonian and gains fantastic abilities. He at first uses these abilities to become a wrestler, to get money to use to impress the girl next door, that he pines after. But he lets it go to his head and allows a thief to rob his boss, only to moments later find out that the thief carjacked Jonathan Kent and kills him in the process. His death galvanizes Clark Kent to become Spider-Man. Wait, no, that's the wrong origin. It seems to be a thing where they like to kill off Jonathan Kent a lot. Hell, even in the Richard Donner movie they did it. That death had a point though. It was to show that Superman can't save everyone. Well, I guess technically he could have gone back in time and had his dad chew on some aspirin. Okay, so no Superman is perfect. In Man of Steel, his death felt more pointless, when it actually almost meant something. Jonathan Kent raises his hand, telling his son not to save him, and thus protecting his son's identity. It was a good sacrifice that was misused. The lesson Clark should have learned from his death that his father was wrong to stop him, that protecting his identity is important, but not at the loss of life. It should be a tragic moment for Clark knowing that his father died to protect him, and now Clark can't take it back. Now Clark knows that if a life is in danger, he has to do something about it. He can't stand there and let someone die just because he doesn't want to reveal himself. This is another thing, it really should have galvanized him to action. This is the moment, the true moment, where he becomes Superman. His father died, and he could have saved him. And he didn't. It could have been so good. But instead, it's treated almost as if Jonathan Kent was right. And he wasn't. Superman should save people because he can, and because that's the type of person he is. He is a hero. But hey, why focus on ideas like this? I'm certain you could probably stick one or two more Jesus references in there. Is it just me, or is anyone else in the mood for pancakes while watching this movie? I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I really want to go to the International House of Pancakes while watching this movie. I also really, on my way to IHOP, want to stop by Sears and check out some of those products. Maybe get a washer and dryer. I don't know. I cannot explain these things. Just really want to do them while watching this movie.
Here is something you can't understand. I want you just kill a man. Here is something you can't understand. I want you just kill a man.
This is another moment where, in essence, it's an amazing scene. You know, I don't want to downgrade it. This is actually a really good scene that's let down by this movie. Zod forces Superman into a situation where he must kill Zod or let innocents die. Granted, it would be nice if the innocents could move out of the way. But still, this scene should have been one of power. Except, nowhere in the movie is the issue of killing brought up. Hell, He kills Zod with a smirk on his face in Superman 2. And in this movie, he kills Zod, then he yells. Is it because he sought to defend life wherever he can? His father died, and now he has drawn this line that he will do everything he can to protect the life of an innocent if he can? Oh wait, that's right, they didn't include that in the movie either. Is it because he just had to kill to save a life? Is it actually just because he's now the last Kryptonian? All the other Kryptonians are dead and now he's alone in the universe? Is it because when he snapped Zod's neck, he let out a silent but deadly fart and he's concerned Lois will smell it and decides she can't handle Kryptonian gas? Why does he yell? All these things could be true. We don't know. It's not followed up on. It's not addressed earlier in the movie. We don't know why he does this. We get nothing. Not a meaningful look, not a speech, nothing. He kills Zod and yells. We have no idea what's going on in his mind. That is why I consider this the worst moment in Man of Steel. Not because the moment itself is bad. I think the moment is ripe with potential. It just, nothing is addressed about it. They don't follow up. There's nothing earlier in the movie to address this issue. It just happens. It's a great idea, but we need something to back it up. Those are the top 5 reasons why Man of Steel sucked. If you disagree, please say your opinion in the comments below. If you really liked Man of Steel, then you'll enjoy my next video a lot more.
If I go crazy